Here we are, Memorial Day 2010 at Wes Thompson's house. We just got back from the parade. Can you please tell me, Wes, how did you enjoy it today? What was the overall vibe from the people?
Well, I enjoyed the parade, to see the people's enthusiasm for their country, and mostly I think people's enthusiasm comes from the foundations of our country. And when we speak of freedom today, many of us, I think, know that we're not as free as we were supposed to be. And I hope people begin to realize this and talk more about it. And this small community here, the most important thing about it is, the only reason it is people need to look to each other and realize that the smallest form of government they have are these boroughs, townships, communities. And if there is any restoration to be done, that's the level it will begin at. I don't want to perceive freedom. I don't want to believe I'm free. I want to know I'm free. And I know my freedoms are not privileges. They weren't granted to me. I was born with them. That's what our founders understood, and that is what our founding documents spelled out very plainly. And in the writings of the founders, if you can't find it in the documents, you will find it in their writings. They understood this. So the enthusiasm for this community, I've seen it at peaks and valleys through my life. I can't say I see the kind of enthusiasm that I once saw, but I still see some, and I know the best of the people here are more concerned and want to restore the borough and as well as their country. So I hope people begin to rally around the foundational values of this country, embrace them, and realize that government is not going to fix our problems. Government has basically become a large problem to us all. And some may benefit from this problem, but most do not. So that's my view and the way I see it. But basically all the people who fought and died for this country, fought and died for the people, fought and died for the land. They didn't really always fight and die for the United States of America. They fought and died for their family, their friends, and for the men who served beside them as well. And they fought and died for the ideals of this country. So that's why we must never forget our ideals, and we must restore them. And and when I looked around, I know there's a lot of people that I probably don't know a whole lot about the aspects of our history that have they've basically been forgotten, or they've controlled history to the point where the truth is hard to find. It's still there, and it's hard to deny the truth once it's exposed, but people deny it being a truth. So that's what makes it so difficult. So America has done a lot of harm in this world as well as a lot of good. And the most good we have ever done is the idea of individual liberty that comes from God. And when we fight for that, and we defend that, we can never lose and we can never be wrong. It's when we go off and do things that are beyond that. It's when we're hurting everything that we started upon, and we're damaging our credibility, and the world will embrace what this country started, and it would embrace it once again if we were to revert back to it at all levels of our government. Once again, the people who are serving their country, we all need to thank them, and I thank them. Even though I've never served. My grandfather, my father served, but I chose not to for many reasons. But I commend those who do, because I know they're not all serving the government. They're serving their loved ones. They're serving the people in the land. The true patriotism is to the people in the land. And so on that, happy Memorial Day 2010.
And I met two veterans, Second World War in Blawnox, the only two left, and they knew your dad. And they spoke highly of John Thompson, your dad. And he was also serving too, right? Your dad?
Yeah, I said, yeah, Second World War. He was in the Navy. I think he even had to lie about his age to get it a little young, because he wanted to serve so bad. But that was the case with many of those men. And it was a noble cause then. It was a noble cause. And they saved the world, but if we're not careful, we will succumb to just exactly what we supposedly saved the world from in the Second World War. And that's what we have to remember, that what happened to Germany, what happened to some of these places, we all look at it and wonder how it could happen. We better be thinking long and hard about these things, because it could happen.
One of them veterans was prisoner in Germany. He told me on Christmas they locked him up. So it was powerful. I have him in the clips, but I'll zoom on your poster there, since you said that it's your inalienable right that comes from your Creator, right?
Amen.
Freedom. And how did our founding fathers said about it? The 10 Commandments, but it's beautiful. And then this little flag, can you explain this flag? That one there?
It's self-explanatory, I believe.
And then, nice. And then you have this one. This one is one of your favorites right here.
That doesn't apply to today. I don't know what does. Let me read it. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around the banks will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. The issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs. The Constitution allows, it gives the power to Congress, from the people to the Congress, to coin and regulate the value of money. It does not give them the power to give it away, and that's what they've done. They've created a central banking system that has been robbing us through inflation since it was started. And no fiat currency, which is what we have, has lasted more than 100 years. And the central bank was set up in, I believe, 1913.
And last thing, can you please explain your yellow flag and your shirt?
Well, that was, as far as I know, it was first used in the War for Independence, which we call the Revolutionary War, which I don't. I call it the War for Independence. It wasn't a revolution. And it was used in Culpeper, Virginia by the Culpeper Minutemen. It's not exactly this flag, but it was one version of it, was the Culpeper flag. So there's other than that. It's also used, heard the guys say that they flew it on their Navy ships. It was a Navy flag, or the Navy uses it. And it just means warning. You know, it's a rattlesnake that if you step on our rights, if you oppress us, then we will strike. Basically what it means. It's just a warning, and it was a warning to England originally, I suppose. It was to the when we were fighting for independence from England.
Okay. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy